Excel formulas are dead, or are they? I moved one column 3 spaces to the right, and the formula changed completely. Then I gave Excel a problem that formulas couldn't solve at all. But first, let's start simple. All I want is the value of each engagement. Normally, I just multiply hours by hourly rate. But if I type the equal sign and give it a second, Copilot suggests a formula for me. And that's exactly what I'd expect. It's looking at the columns right beside it and suggesting the most obvious calculation. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I'm going to take the exact same column and move it to the end of the table. But now, look at the formula it's suggesting. That's not what they gave me a second ago. Instead of just multiplying, it's adding this condition, assuming I only want revenue for billable engagements. So, what changed? The only thing I changed is where the column sits. When it's right next to the inputs, that proximity signals a strong dependency. But when it's at the end, it shifts to a more global view, assuming this is the final output and starts adding business logic. Apparently, position matters. It changes how Copilot reads the row of the column. Now you might think, if I make the header more specific, it will guide it. But it doesn't. So column name tends to be a weaker signal compared to the worksheet structure. And here's something worth noticing. If I exit the cell and type equals again, I get a different suggestion. And that's actually expected. Because Copilot does not know exactly what I want. It's choosing from multiple plausible interpretations of what this column could represent, and making its best guess. My intent is still implicit. And that's really the trade-off of this feature. It's fast because it's guessing. But if I don't want it to guess, I can just open the Copilot sidebar and tell it exactly what I want. Calculate engagement revenue using hours and hourly rate. And it simply does it. My intent is not explicit. For this example though, that's probably overkill. So let's go back to suggestions. Instead, I will make the intent more obvious in the worksheet itself by adding a billable revenue column. Engagement revenue goes back to the basic calculation, and billable revenue becomes the logical place for the conditional formula. Before, one column had multiple possible meanings. Now, each column has a clear row. The ambiguity goes down and the suggestions become much more predictable. That's really what this feature is doing. It's reading context, the headers, the nearby columns, where things sit in the table, and from that, it tries to predict what you are building. So, Copilot isn't really guessing formulas, it's guessing intent, and you can control what it guesses. Let's move beyond simple calculations. The goal is to rank lines from highest revenue to lowest. Type an equal sign, and it suggests a ranking formula. This is where this feature becomes genuinely useful. Not because the formula itself is difficult, but because it's the can't manifest don't use often enough that we have to stop and think. What was that function called again? Or it surfaced the formula before we even decide which one to use. That removes a lot of formula hunting. Let's push this one step further. Suppose I want a single engagement label for each row. And we have already given Excel the sample pattern. Client name, project type, month, and year. For something like this, I could do flash fill. Type the first result, press Ctrl+E, done. This works until the data changes. It's no longer connected to the source data. So instead, let's go back to the suggestion feature. This time, Copilot builds a formula that combines the fields. If the source data changes, the result changes too. It's not just saving you from typing a formula, it's turning something static to dynamic. So far, Copilot Suggestions has been doing pretty well. It can predict calculations, It can infer rankings. It can even build dynamic test patterns that are better than flash fill. But all of these assume one thing, that there is a formula to solve the problem. But what happens when there isn't? Take a look at this notes column. It's not structured, the wording is inconsistent, and the important information is buried inside the sentences. What I want from this is the next actionable item for each row. Flash fill won't work here, because there is no consistent pattern to follow. And formula suggestions also struggle, because understanding meaning is a different problem. This is exactly where the Copilot function becomes the next level up. For each row, extract next steps from this list here in concise phrase. Look at what it returns. Good to bill, waiting for client response, no immediate action. At this point, we are no longer forcing a formula, there just isn't a clean one to write. We just describe the outcome and letting Copilot figure out how to get there. And that's fundamentally different. So when should you use each one? If there is enough context, let Copilot suggest it. If there isn't really a formula, the Copilot function is the best. And if you want Copilot to just do it for you, use the sidebar. Think of it this way. One predicts, one interprets, one executes. They can sometimes get you to the same result, but they get there in completely different ways. They are not competing features. So, are Excel formulas dead? Not really, but the way we use them is changing. And writing them from scratch, that's definitely fading. A year ago, I would have told you Copilot felt unfinished. Today, if you understand formulas, Copilot makes you faster. If you don't, it helps bridge the gap. Either way, Excel is becoming a lot more forgiving. What's one formula you hope Copilot saves you from writing forever? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more practical breakdown like this, subscribe.